Hello, friends. Good morning. I have 59 minutes until I had to say good afternoon. I've been sitting here in, of course, my Donut Day parking lot, consuming my favorite delicacies. And guys, I have to show you, a friend from church gave me these. Aren't these perfect? Cake time, donut time. I love them. I have actually not been sitting here wearing these and eating my donuts. That would be weird. But I do it for the video. So aren't these fantastic? Look at all the sprinkles. That's just so perfect. Love it. Such a sweet gift. People know me well, apparently. Like I must talk about donuts a lot. Anyway, last week I tried to do a one-take wonder, doing this exact same thing in this exact same spot, basically. And I was having issues with combining my videos because my phone didn't have enough storage, so I struggled with that. So I'm like, you know what? We're just gonna wipe the slate clean and do it over again. We're gonna do vlog 10 here today. Just a brief update on my life. So last Monday, actually I think it was last Tuesday, because last Monday I was getting back from my tour. So then I changed my donut day to Tuesday. So just kind of a little last hurrah before I get back into my good eating habits after having eaten a ton on tour, or just definitely not my normal. Anyway, yes, I got back from my tour last Monday. It was a great tour. It was hot. Oh, was it hot? We went to Florida, and I kind of knew it. I kind of braced for it. I looked at my weather app, and I knew it'd be in the hundreds. So I planned and prepared for that. But boy, was it hot. Yes, for a few days. We did get some afternoon showers and such. But the cool thing was that we were also able to hit 2 beaches on that last trip. Again, a lot of times on our tours we hardly have time for fun, but we had time to go to the Gulf of America beach in the Bradenton area, and then when we traveled up to the Carolinas, we went to let's see here, we were in Holly Ridge, so there's a beach there that I knew that church was close to the beach, so thankfully we had time that afternoon or that morning to visit the beach again. That was fun. So I am back. I'm in the saddle. I'm trying to catch up on all the things, all the emails and such that I was not able to do on tour. It's really hard for me to keep up with my communications on tour. So I'm catching up. Just yesterday, I was finalizing some brand new songs, working on a brand new song, and I'm just kind of gearing up because in 6 days, next Sunday I have kind of a mini concert, local area concert, and then the very next day my husband and I we go to Nashville for our orchestration recording project. So that'll be a fun getaway trip, and of course something brand new for Forever Be Sure. We started officially back in 2008, so it's taken all this time for us to actually be able to try this brand new venture of recording live instrumentalists for our orchestrations, and I'm super excited. So pray for that. But yes, as far as my family news, it's been quite a full year. And I'm thankful to report that with all the travel, I have not felt overly stressed. In fact, sometimes the opposite, which is so weird to say. When I don't have, I keep busy. I think I just struggle sometimes when I don't have something. I don't even know. I'm still figuring myself out. But amid all the travel, I have not been too stressed, and I'm thankful to report that. So where have I been this year? January, I was kind of thinking through this the other day. January, we were in Arizona for a family trip. February, my husband and I went to Florida for a kind of a getaway, and we visited some of our donors, some of you. Let's see here. March, I took a quick weekend trip to Michigan for a ladies' conference. April, my husband and I went to Greece for our 10-day, 11-day trip, something like that. Super cool experience. And then May, at the end of May, we had a recording project in Indianapolis, well, south of Indianapolis. And I'm working through some of those tracks. And we are eager to release our brand new CD in October, Lord willing. And let's see, that was May. Then June started off with a bang for our first tour of the year up on the Upper East Coast. And then a couple of weeks later, we went out to Washington State for our family vacation, family reunion, Shaw family reunion. And then our July to, well, let's see, July had family camp, and then at the end of July was our recent tour. And it doesn't stop there, folks. Like I said, we're going to Nashville for just a few days here mid-August, and then let's see here, September filming trip. Yes, in the middle of September, we have some music videos to film, so that's planned for that. And then October we have our tour, and November we go to Branson for another family vacation. So there's plenty to look forward to and plenty to do. So life continues to be busy. That's why when I'm at home, I try and just kind of milk up all the normal, soak it up and catch up on all the things that I was not able to do while traveling. So I've been busy doing that. I'm thankful for just kind of the ebb and flow of life. I like busy, I like normal, I like travel, I like being at home. So I'm just thankful for that. I'm super excited as far as my family, my kids. My son has been out, my oldest son Jake has been out in Washington State at my brother-in-law's church, First Baptist of Soap Lake. I'm so thankful he reached out to him to have him come do a pastoral internship, because my son is now majoring as a pastor, majoring in college to become a pastor. And so this has been a great experience for him. He preached for the very first time, I think it was 2 Sundays ago, maybe 3 Sundays ago. It was while I was on tour, so I listened to his sermon. I was so blessed. Just neat to see how God has gifted him and continues to lead him. Just a blessing to see what the Lord continues to do in the life of my children. In a few weeks, both he and Reagan's been at home this summer, but they both go back to college for their 3rd year, and we have 2 back at home. So yeah, life continues on the home front. Let's see here, what else was I going to talk about? Yes, on our tour, I had a couple notes that I was going to mention. I'm so thankful for the ladies that I get to travel with, both this tour and last tour. I'm sure I had a moment where I just kind of looked at them and thought, I am so blessed by the people that are willing, available, able, eager to travel with me. They're just such sweet, godly girls. We have such enriching conversations, and I love how they're so easy to travel with too. I tell them this, I'm the most high maintenance person on the team for sure. But they're just easy, and we have times where we talk a lot, and we have times where we don't sense the need to talk a lot, and it's just very comfortable, and I'm thankful to travel with people like that. I've been a little frustrated. I'm not really sure why this is happening, but I had a lesson to learn from it. I got another cold on this trip, which is so strange. I'm normally pretty healthy, but for some reason, when I'm on these last 2 tours, I've been on a lot of trips and I haven't gotten sick on all of them. But on these last 2 tours, I've been struggling through something, a sickness that has affected my vocal cords. So I have had to push through that, and I mentioned it to my husband in a text or a phone call while I was on tour, and he just reminded me that, I can't remember how he put it, but we're entering that phase, older age, which you don't just get sick because you're old necessarily, but you have to learn to kind of minister through your weakness. And that was a good reminder. We would love to be strong. I can remember very few concerts where I felt like, oh, my voice, it just felt great, if that makes sense. Really on. And so that doesn't happen a lot, folks. We're usually working and through our weakness and ministering in our weakness. So that was a good reminder, just to let the Lord work through me. In fact, on this tour, that was one of our prayers specifically. I prayed that the Lord would really fill us with his Spirit, and that the Lord would fill the room and fill the listeners with his Spirit. And I thought of that verse, it's not by might, not by strength, but by your Spirit, says the Lord. We could have the most polished, amazing performance and experience that might even make people have all the warm, fuzzy feels. But I want God's power to work through us. I want to sense that this truth is connecting with people, and it will have a lasting impact. And so that is what I prayed for. And I will say that there were a number of concerts where I absolutely felt that. And I'm thankful for that. I want the Lord to do his work. And again, it's like we're it's like you're planting seeds. You're planting the seed of God's word through song, and you're just trusting the Lord to use it and to do what He wills with that truth in the lives of the listeners. And so I was very thankful for how He seemed to have answered prayers in that regard. One cool thing we did on our trip, I'm really into audiobooks. I may have mentioned that before, but there was this one that was recommended to me by a lady I highly respect. And so I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday of our tour. I think I had eaten a little bit later, breakfast or something, and so the ladies hadn't, and so they went in to go get their lunch, and I stayed out in the car, and I was kind of on my phone. I'm like, I'll download this book and see what it's about. Maybe I'll listen to it as I go to bed at night or something like that. And so I started it, and then when they came back in the car, I'm like, we have a drive. You want to just listen to part of this book? And I'm like, sure. And we all got into this book. So much so that toward the end of tour, they're like, we got to speed this up, put it to 1.5 speed so they talk a little faster to get through it by the end of tour. We were just really invested and into this book. And so I'm like, man, I should do this every tour and have a book of the tour that we listen to, because there's plenty of drive time. Anyway, that was fun. That was fun to do as a team. Another thing, I wanted to mention this for sure. Another thing that we do and that we've done on the past 2 tours is my sister recommended the Compelled podcast. If you have not listened to the Compelled podcast, can I highly recommend that? I have been so affected by it. What it basically is, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Pacific Garden Mission. That's what I'm trying to say. Pacific Garden Mission has a radio station, and they share stories of people coming to know the Lord. And that's the Pacific Garden Mission in Chicago, and I can't remember what the name of the radio program is, forgive me, but this is very similar. So if you're familiar with that, this is very similar. These are mostly, at least the ones that I've listened to, mostly stories of people coming to know the Lord, and they are dramatic stories. Now, little caveat here, anybody who gets saved at any age is a total miracle. I got saved as a 5-year-old, and to see how God, the God of heaven, the unseen God, works in very tangible, seen ways in my mind, in my heart, in my life, is a miracle. But these particular stories are a lot of times from people that have been in some just crazy situations. Like one of them was, the guy was in the Ku Klux Klan way back in the whatever 60s, got saved in prison. He went on to really serve the Lord with the rest of his life. I don't know, he might even still be alive. But I was so moved by it. And not all of them are that dramatic. Some of them are more like one of them was a guy who got saved. His twin brother had gotten saved, and then eventually this guy had gotten saved, but he was a real intellectual, and all of that. And so just listening to him think through and just speak the story of how he came to know the Lord was so helpful for me, because even after his conversion, he confessed that he struggles with doubts, and just some things that he said about that still stick with me, and I can relate and connect to. So it's fantastic. Guys, you've got to check out the Compelled podcast. If you go on a walk or you're doing the dishes or housework, or stick it on. I think they have a little over 100 episodes. My sister, Heidi Fuller, actually, because she knows this man and wife who do this Compelled podcast. They used to go to her church back in Kansas. They interviewed Heidi and Rob, and their adoption story, embryo adoption, all of that. Perhaps you know a little bit of that story. But they were one of the podcasts. So that was earlier on in their podcasts, but they are up to, I think, over 100. It's fantastic. Check it out. One thing I wanted to for sure mention is this past tour we've done something brand new for our ministry. I mentioned this in the last email, and I just want to show you because I do actually have these cards with me, and I'll explain them here. For our June tour, and for as long as we've toured, I have, before the last song, I will give a little invite to our product table, because we, for many, many years, and still do, bring our products with us. Well, we don't really have hardly any to speak of, any printed products, so any printed books, piano books, choral books, etc. But we bring our CD collection, and we invite people to come back and browse and buy and all of that. But I just got pretty self-conscious because I realized, and I knew this day was coming, but it just hit me in full strength last tour in June. And I'm like, you know what? 95% of the people in this audience, they don't even have a CD player. If they do, they probably still listen to streaming music just like I do, just like I did a few minutes ago as I was eating my donuts. And so I was getting kind of self-conscious, like, why am I even inviting people to come buy our CDs? So it got me to thinking. It's time to make the big shift. The Lord has just been so faithful in these past few years to provide through people like you. And we are making that big shift toward crowdfunding. And even just last week, I got a letter in the mail from somebody who's been very blessed by our music. She wrote a nice long letter, just kind of sharing a little bit of her story, and she had a donation check in there. And she said, I've been thinking about it. Maybe she said, I'm praying about, ministries that I could support, and yours is it. And I'm like, what a blessing, because that's exactly what we hope to continue to grow our donor base. And so where was I going with that? The Lord has been faithful in continuing to provide just through donations. We're a nonprofit ministry. We're a 501(c)(3). And so your donations can be tax deductible. Is that the right word? I get tax exempt and tax deductible confused sometimes. Tax deductible. So I thought, you know what? We just need to have our CDs offered on a donation basis, which is what we did this past trip. And so I created these cards that says, fill your home with truth, hope, and harmony, our free online music. And so I have just a few listed here: Spotify, Amazon, Facebook, YouTube, Pandora, iTunes. I know some of them do need subscriptions, but I know I sometimes listen to our music or other music on Pandora, and I do not have a subscription to that. So you have to listen to some ads or whatever. So anyway, I'm like, hey, people, we want our music, our ministry of our music, to get into your hearts and your homes regardless. The Lord will provide for our needs. And so I just wanted them to have this card so that, I don't know, put it up on your fridge or stick it in your Bible. But it also has a little QR code where you can donate, and we are asking and prayerfully seeking the Lord to expand that donor base. And so that's what we did. And so people, yes, some people this last tour did donate, and in that way they were able to get some of our CDs. So we're grateful for that. But ultimately, we want the ministry of our music to get in your heart and in your homes on a consistent, regular basis. All right, I need to speed up because it's saying my phone is getting hot. I'm not really sure why, because it's not hot in here. Anyway, the last couple things I wanted to say is just I'm working on some new songs. Like I said, I just completed a brand new rendition of Fanny Crosby's Take the World But Give Me Jesus. Very excited about that one. It has a little snippet of the familiar African spiritual, give me Jesus, give me Jesus, give me Jesus, you can have all this. That one, I'm excited about that one. And just last night I was working through, nearly finalized another song called He Is Knock Knock Knocking. It's from Revelation 3:20. I feel like in one of my blogs I've already mentioned this, or maybe just in one of the emails, but I was just desiring to be or feel closer to the Lord. And I was listening to a podcast here in my car a while back, and this speaker referenced Revelation 3:20. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hears my voice and opens the door, I will come into him and sup with him and dine with him. And so if I feel far away from the Lord, it's not because he's gone anywhere. He has that continual posture toward me of knocking. He wants to come in. He wants me to see my need of him. And I think that's key. I think perhaps the reason we don't feel close to the Lord. And I know I fall into this trap nearly every day where you stop praying for things. You stop asking the Lord for help because you don't sense the need of his help. And so in that particular passage in Revelation 3, these Christians were lukewarm. They were not hot. They were not cold. They were lukewarm. And that disgusted Jesus. And he said, I want to spew you out of my mouth because you think you have all these riches and that you're all good and you're all set for life and you have no need of me. And he said, actually, you're blind, naked, wretched, miserable, and poor. Those are 5 descriptions of his children, of these Christians. And then at the end of that, he says, behold, I stand at the door and knock. And I love that. That's his posture toward his children, that he's there. And you need to acknowledge your need of him and acknowledge that he wants to come in and he wants to provide all that you need. So anyway, that's where that song came from. Super excited about that. It's a fun one. That's why the title sounds kind of fun. He's knock, knock, knocking. Hopefully it'll sound a little bit like that. And the last song I'm working through, and I think I kind of finished it. I kind of finished it on my computer, but it's, of course, it's never finished until we finish it in the recording and finalize it and all of that. But I have not yet sung through it, like standing up as if I were performing, which is kind of my last step. And so it's getting there. It's almost finished, but it's a song called "Only Children Come," and it's from the gospel accounts where Jesus welcomes the little children to him, even infants. One of the gospels talks about how they were bringing even infants to him. And the disciples are shooing them away, and Jesus says, no, let them come. Let them come. Suffer the little children to come to me. And I love that. I do think there is something to be learned about how God welcomes children. I don't think that's the point of the passage, that we all should just love children. But I think Jesus, of course, loves people of all ages, but he specifically welcomes the children because they represent those who are able to come into the kingdom of heaven. If you don't come as a child, you don't come. If you don't come as a child who understands their weakness and just comes in simple faith, in simple faith in Jesus and what he says, you don't come. And it says, you will by no means enter the kingdom of heaven unless you become a child. Like, those phrases just pop off the page to me. And I thought, what a beautiful picture. And so this song that I'm writing, Only Children Come, is all about the gospel. And it's all about coming to God with simple faith. I've even incorporated a little motif of Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, because when I think of kids, or babies or infants, that's what I think of. It's just a simple, quiet song. So I'm excited about that. I'm working. I'm still writing music here at Forever Be Sure, but I had better wrap it up here. Thanks for listening. Thanks for taking an interest in what we do. Things are still happening. We're still alive and well, and the Lord continues to fuel me with songs to write about. And it is a gorgeous day here in western Wisconsin. I have my windows down. You probably have heard some of the street noise. A few minutes ago there was a siren. I was wondering if maybe we would have another loud noise like that. But hey, what happened to my... Oh, here they are, my glasses. I just wanted to say a farewell with my favorite glasses. Thanks for taking interest in the Forever Be Sure Music Ministry. Like I said, I have some business to do here once we wrap this up. All right, have a great week, guys.